Live visuals coming to us from the Electoral Court in Bloemfontein. Advocate Dali Mpofu SC there addressing the court on behalf of the Umkhonto weSizwe party. I'm going to bring in our guests as we try to make sense of what's being discussed there in the court this afternoon and throughout the morning as well. Joining us is Michael Atkins, who is an independent elections analyst, and Omry Makgoale, who is a political analyst. To both of our guests, thanks very much indeed for joining us. We appreciate your time. Omry, I want to begin with you this afternoon. And it's difficult to argue with Dali Mpofu, isn't it, on the issue of urgency, and that the fact that the ANC had a lot more time than it currently has.
Yes, I think probably maybe he's right on the issue of urgency, that maybe the ANC did not respond quickly after the registration by MK political party. Maybe he's right on that issue. And maybe on the side of ANC, there was a bit of negligence. Maybe the office did not act as promptly as it was expected. But, I have to say that, put the disclaimer that I'm not a lawyer. So some of the technicalities of law might not be in a position to answer them properly.
No, sure. And neither am I. So we're all in good company. Michael, let's bring you into the conversation. How much is at stake here with what the ANC is asking the court for? The issue of jurisdiction is one that's come up time and time again.
Look, there is a lot at stake. The jurisdiction question is important because from the arguments we have seen that this is not a question of the ordinary process of registering a party and an ordinary objection to the registration of a party. That has gone and done. There is no ordinary objection. The question, there are more fundamental questions that we will come to. Did the IEC actually finalize an application requiring a fresh application to commence? And then did they then correctly or incorrectly reverse their own decision?
Michael, my apologies. I'm going to come in there, Michael. We're struggling with our connection to you, unfortunately. I'm going to just give it a moment to try and stabilize. But yeah, what you're talking about is there was a refusal on the basis that when the MK party was trying to register, on the basis that there were some missing documents and the party didn't fulfill the requirements outlined in Section 15 of the Electoral Commission Act. And despite that, they were, of course, allowed to register based on a supplemented registration process. I think that's the process that you're trying to clarify for us. While we try and establish that connection back to Michael Atkins, Omry, I want to come back to you because that is the question here, right? It's an argument that is currently being made in the Electoral Court on behalf of various parties that really is an issue of process insofar as the IEC is concerned. The ANC hasn't approached the court because it doesn't want the MK party to register. It's all around the process of how that registration came about.
Yes, I think the debate, of course, the argument is around how the process took place, and the fact that this MK party was given a chance to redraw things and so on, and given, I think, maybe more chance than one would have expected. I think it might be a problem there somewhere, that if the processes were not followed strictly by all parties in the same way, then there's a problem, that maybe the ANC has got a point to chew on that,
Yeah.
So I think that's where the problem is in my mind.
Michael, I think we have you back now. I'd like you to finish the point that you were making. I mean, does the ANC have a point here? And should the MK party have been made to start the process all over again at the very least?
On the face of it, it appears that that is the case. However, if the IEC subsequently gave the MK opportunity to supplement their original application and MK acted in good faith, the question would be, aside from whether this urgency and this court is the place to hear the matter, the question would be what will be in the interests of justice And would it be in the interests of justice for the supporters of MK to be denied their opportunity to show their support at the ballot box on the basis of a technical sequence of events?
And in fact, MK is not to blame here, right? If going from what you're saying, if the IEC okayed the process, Michael, that's where it should end for MK, technically speaking.
On the face of it, yes. Obviously, there are some legal arguments that could be made.
All right, we really are struggling with our connection to Michael. Omry, I want to talk to you about, the optics of all of this unfolding in the Electoral Court in Bloemfontein. I asked you to weigh in on the issue that Dali Mpofu raised insofar as, the ANC going into a slumber. It should have raised this issue back in September. Now, months later, it's acting on the basis of so-called urgency because the elections are around the corner. But the ANC has spent months not doing a thing about it. In terms of optics, Omry, it does appear that the governing party is scrambling. Is that fair to say?
Look, I think the office of ANC did not act promptly on the matter, did not act seriously in time, and it's negligence from the office, because when your guards are down, then you get attacked by everybody. So ideally, they should have immediately when the party was registered, they should have challenged it, right away. But maybe there was nobody at the office to actually monitor some of these things because maybe we were engaged with factional battles or all the problems inside the office instead of actually having people to monitor what actually happens, on the outside. So I would say that the ANC office maybe slept a bit on this issue.
If there is the decision and the court upholds the ruling in favor of the ANC, Omry, and Michael did make mention of this as well, essentially the court will be denying members of MK and voters of MK from exercising their constitutional right. This is quite possibly one of the most important tests of the Electoral Court, isn't it?
Look, I think that you see the MK political party, it's as an MK man myself, I think that the usage of the MK name for this political party, for us, former MK, for some of us, it's not fair because this is our name. And this name is a trademark of ANC. And besides, MK was formed by the SACP and the ANC. So we don't expect any other person to use it outside, these two organizations, the SACP and the ANC. So we think that we would not normally accept this. So it's okay if they use another name, but if they take our name and use it this way, we are unhappy, even some of us,
Yeah.
Because we feel that they are taking our name and using it wrongly.
Michael, I want your final comments as we close off this conversation, and I do see we have you back on the line again. But the judiciary, yet again, finds itself inadvertently in the center of the country's political system. It's a big test, and this is a question I've just to put to Omry as well, a big test for the Electoral Court.
Correct. This is where we need the law to be blind, as it says. This must be decided on the legal merits, but bearing in mind the fairness of elections as well.
Michael Atkins is an independent elections analyst, and Omry Makgoale, let me thank you both of you for your time. He is a political analyst joining us as the MK party and the ANC square off in the Electoral Court. That case has been ongoing for the better part of the morning up until just now, about 1:10 past.